Without any nays, I think the affirmatives carry it, and we approve the minutes from last month. I don't believe that there was any correspondence, Stuart. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And our persons to be heard, I believe, it would be Reeves, which I guess we're going to get to at our new business. Do we have any old business? None at this time.
Yep.
Okay, so our new business is with Reeves. Reeves, please take it away. Thanks for joining us.
All right, thank you. I've been having a hectic evening here, but then it looks like I may not be the only one. So bear with me here. I do have a PowerPoint presentation. It's running about 10 minutes long. I hope that's still okay.
Of course. Yeah.
All right, let me get queued up here and I'll get us going. So I'm going to share my screen.
Yeah, thanks, Reeves. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Reese Miranda. I'm the chief engineer for Alaska State Parks. Thank you for having me this evening. I have a presentation here. This was an effort by our director, Ricky. He wanted me to attend these CAB meetings and to bring more awareness of who the design and construction unit is, what we do, who we are, and how we fit in with the Alaska State Parks mission. Is everyone seeing my my presentation okay?
I can see
I
it.
can see it. Yep.
All right, excellent. All right, so the outline for tonight, I'm going to go over just a couple slides with some introduction and background on how we became to be. And then I'll go into who we are, what we do. I have a slide on deferred maintenance, and then I'm also going to talk about the current projects that we have relevant to the Mat-Su area. And then at the end, I just have some vital statistics that I've been maintaining since I became chief, and I'll share that with everyone. Yeah, so starting out with some statutes here. AS 4121 shouldn't be anything new to the folks here. This is basically the Alaska statute that creates the division and directs the division to develop a system of parks and outdoor recreation facilities. It goes further to say that these facilities should take into account health and safety. They should be enjoyable, and they should also be attractive to the visitors to the state. AS 3895 160. This is the statute that says that developments in state land that is funded by public funding greater than 100,000 shall be supervised by a professional registered under AS 0848. And AS 0848 is a reference to architects, engineers, and land surveyors. AS 3510. This is a statute that requires public buildings to be built in accordance with applicable building codes and the requirement to secure construction permits. And then additionally, 3530-20 also requires the department to comply with local planning and zoning ordinances in the same manner as any other landowners would be required to secure those or to comply with those requirements. AS 351030, this is once a project goes into the construction phase, this is the statute that requires us to supervise and inspect the construction of public works, to make sure that what is being built conforms to plans and specs, and that the interests of the state are being protected, specifically in terms of like contracts and claims avoidance or protecting the state against claims. 2 CFR 200 329 parent D. This is the federal regs that mirror that statute that we were just looking at for construction inspection. Of course, federal regs only apply when when federal funding is at play. We do use a lot of federal funds on a lot of our capital projects, so this regulation comes into play quite often. Again, it's nothing new or more strenuous than the Alaska statute, but it just shows that at the state and federal level, that inspection piece is a critical component. All right, so design and construction, who we are. We are a project-oriented unit. Our primary role is to deliver the division's major capital project. And the unit is pretty much in direct response to those statutory requirements that we just went over. We have been part of the division pretty much since the beginning. Back in 1972, I came across an old org chart. About 25% of the division staffing was design and construction. These days, we make up about 10% of the division's staffing. Staff members, we consist of 3 licensed engineers. One of those is being my position, and I have 2 project managers to help manage the projects on a day-to-day basis. Beneath them, we have 7 staff engineers. We recently got a licensed landscape architect. We historically have always had landscape architects. Unfortunately, around 2017, we lost our landscape architects through retirement and just folks moving on. We hadn't been able to backfill that position until recently. Last February, we did hire a landscape architect, and he is now kind of he's learning the ropes, and he's working on getting the rounds to all the areas. We have 1 interp and ed manager, and beneath that manager are 2 interpretation and education specialists. Interp and ed used to be their own section. In the early 2000s, however, when their chief retired, there was a decision made to join them with design and construction, and so now they're underneath the design and construction umbrella. And just like most units in the division, we also use the ACC program to varying degrees with positions to support our activities. It's worth noting that all of these positions, except for 2, are 100% project funded. That means, capital funded, not operating. The only 2 positions that have some operating funding is myself. So my position is 75% operating, 25% capital, and then the interp and ed manager is 60% capital and 40% operating. What do we do? So primarily, we monitor and address the division's capital needs. We track and catalog the division's deferred maintenance inventory. And as I mentioned in the outline, I'll go into that a little bit more in the presentation here. I also assist in developing the division's capital budget each year. So I'll typically put together our write-up for deferred maintenance request and also other specific project-specific requests with the governor's office. I also work on partnerships, to secure capital funds through grants and just other funding opportunities may be out there. And so it's critical that I'm aware of what the needs are. So if there are funding opportunities, I can try to pair those up best I can and get and address our needs. Once we have funding secured, the next step is to go into the design phase of a project. And so we would develop engineered designs and construction documents. Our environmental impact analyst plays a role in securing the construction permits for those projects. If an environmental document needs to be prepared, the environmental impact analyst would take the lead on that with support from the staff engineers and project managers. We also do construction procurement. You may not be aware, but the only department that has construction authority is the Department of Transportation and Public Facilities. But with that, they have the ability to delegate construction procurement at limited capacities. DNR has one of the highest delegated amounts. We're at about $3 million for horizontal projects and about $1 million for vertical projects. The reason DNR has higher authorities than other sister departments is that we just have had a 30-year relationship with DOT, and they trust us to make sure that we're doing it properly and that we're protecting the state's interests. So once we have awarded a contract and have gone into construction, our staff engineers turn into resident engineers where they oversee construction activities, again, to make sure that plans and specs or the what's being built conforms to the plans and specs, and we're in compliance with our permit commitments, and also, again, protecting the state's interests. After construction, we maintain the division's construction records, so that includes as-builts, that includes any reports that may have been generated, not only in construction, but also during the design phase. So we'll hang on to like geotechnical engineering reports. We will also maintain approvals to operate like water systems and wastewater systems that we get from that we secure from DEC. Deferred maintenance. Like I said, we maintain our backlog, which is currently at about 96.1 million. We update it annually. About around March, I will send an email out to all the superintendents requesting any updates. And then I'll pull all those updates together. I'll focus on the cost estimates to make sure those are staying current, especially with the past couple years. The cost for construction had gone up, so we want to make sure that the estimates that we're putting in there is current. We do organize those amounts by the area and the park. The table to the right is a summary of the backlog for each of the 6 districts. I will point out Mat-Su is it's showing one of the higher amounts. That's of course because the Mat-Su parks are the busiest. It's a large area, and I have to give kudos to Stuart. He does a good job actually looking into the deferred maintenance and updating it thoroughly. So I tip my hat to you, Stuart. Thank you for being on top of that. Our list is really our best list for scope of work that's readily available whenever funding opportunities come up. So typically, whenever I hear of a a grant opportunity, the first thing I would go to is look at our deferred maintenance book and see if there is a project that we can address with that funding opportunity. It's not quite shovel-ready projects, but definitely the closest to being shovel-ready. The catalog is advertised. It's posted on our website. That's the link there on the last bullet. I will go ahead and copy that into the chat after this presentation. So if you guys haven't seen that yet, that would be a good opportunity to click on that and peruse the catalog. So yeah, focusing on the Mat-Su area here, I'll just go over the list of projects that we have on the books. The first one is the Erman Hill Trailhead Vaulted Toilet. We received $65,000 from OMB to address the deferred maintenance need. Unfortunately, when we requested this, it was around the time of COVID. So that estimate of 65,000 became obsolete pretty quick. I requested a supplemental for that in the FY26 budget. We have not heard yet from OMB. So we're just kind of hanging tight, but we do need some more funding to advance that project beyond the design phase. So right now it's in design, which is the indicated by the D there after the project budget. The Byers Lake Outlet Bridge replacement project, we have 375,000 in hand. We have gotten a verbal that we are also going to be granted or awarded Pittman Robertson money to supplement that amount. I think at the end of the day, we're going to have about 600,000 to replace that outlet bridge. It's in design right now. We're actually in the process of collecting geotechnical information so we can design the foundation and the bridge properly. Hopefully we'll get that going and into construction as soon as possible. Byers Lake Campground improvements. This is a major overhaul of the existing campground. And I believe I presented this project before the CAB a couple years ago to help me secure a Land Water Conservation Fund grant. With the help of the CAB, we were successful, and we have nearly $3 million to move that project forward. Similarly, we also got a grant, LWCF grant, to do the same thing with the South Raleigh campground, just to rehabilitate it and improve that to meet current demands and to accommodate current recreational vehicles and such. Almost $2.5 million for that project, which is also in the design phase. Kisugagan Ken Campground water system. We have 265,000. We did get an amendment approved to expand this project. Originally, it was just to address the 2 hand pump water wells and make those pressurized systems. But like I said, there was an opportunity to expand the scope and add a maintenance building for the piston bully. That's been awarded, but we haven't seen the funding hit our account yet. That's why I haven't shown it in this slide. But that is coming, and we're gonna, once that gets into our account, we're gonna advance this project into design and get that into construction within a year or so. We also have $150,000 for Independence Mine generator shed. This is in the planning phase. I think by and large the major portion of this work was already completed, so we may repurpose that for some other needs in the Independence Mine area there. I'll need to get with Stuart and his staff to fine tune the scope of work for that funding. And then last but not least, we also have another 50,000 to address doors and windows in the Independence Mine park. And Stuart's been chipping away at this chunk of money addressing those items over the past couple of years. All right. Yeah, so just this is just going to be a conclusion piece here. Since I became chief in 2013, I've been maintaining some numbers on our funding and our accomplishments. And so these are the highlights. So over the past 12 years or so, we awarded 282 construction-related contracts valued at over $100 million. We have secured 95 grant awards valued at over 40 million. And then this year alone, our Interp and Ed unit completed 72 work products. So that includes Interp signs, brochures, master plans, planning documents, and also orientation signs and entrance signs. We maintain a healthy list of partners or agencies that we partner with regularly. We have over a dozen that help us advance our projects. Also, other projects that support the Alaska State Parks mission of outdoor recreation. So I believe that, yep, that was the last slide. I'd be happy to field any questions or comments that anyone may have.
Thanks, Reese. I really appreciate you presenting. Is there anything right now, I guess, that you're seeking from the CAB or letters of support or anything along that nature? Anything that's in progress?
No, not at this moment. Like I mentioned, this effort was an initiative by Ricky to just bring more awareness of what the parks family as a whole, what we do. And so this is designing construction's my little corner. And so we just wanted to get the word out and give awareness on what we're involved with and what we're doing.
Scott has a question, and then Chris.
Okay. Yeah, I apologize. I can't see any hands raised or like that. But yes, Scott. Hello, Scott?
Scott, you're muted. It seems I can't unmute you. All right, Scott, we can't hear if you're muted or unmuted, so I'm going to move on to Chris.
Yeah, thanks. Hey, Reese, how do you find out what grants are available and then match them up to projects? That seems laborious.
Yeah, it's actually I've kind of developed it into the art. So to answer your first question, just finding out on funding opportunities. I've been involved with enough federal agencies and even some state agencies that my email has kind of worked its way into a list out there. And so I'll get emails from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. So I'll get notified, like just recently, the coastal wetlands funding opportunity came out. So I get that by email. But also just working with grant administrators. I think this group may be well aware of or familiar with Katie Seacrest over at Fish and Game. She manages the Pittman Robertson grant. So we're in constant communication with her, and she'll let me know when their requests for projects come out. So You know, I'll go through my list of needs, see if there's anything that is a fit and has a match. So I think that was the first part of your question. The second part, as far as piecing the opportunity with projects, um, yeah, that's an interesting one. Um, so Land and Water Conservation Fund is probably the best fit for what we do, but in a way, it's also limited because we limit those grants to um, uh, parks that are already protected by Land and Water Conservation Fund or LWCF. So we don't want to create new LWCF lands because it creates strings attached to that land that sometimes it works in our favor, sometimes it doesn't. So like Finger Lake was we had the last opportunity, and Finger Lake just had a pretty good list of needs, and so we were able to ball that up into a project proposal, and it was actually awarded. Unfortunately, we didn't get match money in FY26, but hopefully in FY27 we get match money and we can leverage that federal award. Um,
Excellent.
yeah, and I'm sorry if I'm going on too much here,
Yeah,
but you know,
no.
I just want to say too, there are a lot of grants that are very specific, like Sustainable Salmon Fund with Fish and Game that addresses fish or salmon habitat. And so I'll find a project that addresses like riverbank restoration or that sort of thing, and then try to pair those up if there's match funding available.
Excellent. Thanks for that. And I think Chelsea said it. If you need help, call on us. Write letters. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, I will definitely take you up on that. And those do work. They are very effective in getting federal funding.
Oh, excellent. Thanks.
I think there's been some chat activities, but I haven't been able to see them.
Scott wasn't able to find his mute button, so I was seeing if he would type out the question. But going back, you just mentioned Finger Lake. So is the Finger Lake campground project that you came to us or came to the cab before on not moving ahead at this point because of lack of match?
Um, that's correct. We were anticipating match money in FY26, and it didn't materialize. But right now, with the governor's budget or proposed budget, I should say, that just came out, there's 1.9 million in match for LWCF in that budget. So if it makes it through, we'll definitely apply it to Finger Lake because it was already awarded by the feds.
Okay, just wanted to be clear for everybody.
Yep, absolutely. Any other questions? All right. I will, like I said, I'll post the link for our deferred maintenance. And
In the
then I
chat?
will, yep, in the chat. And then I
All
will,
right. Well, thank you, Reese.
yeah, thank you
Yeah, thanks
again
for
for
this.
having
Really,
me.
really appreciate your time.
Yeah, great explanation. Appreciate it, man.
All right. Well, I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Thank you again.
You as well. Thanks for joining.
Thanks, Reese. Thanks for joining.
All right, where was I on? Where were we in the agenda?
Okay, so we were at a new business and persons to be heard, and we heard Reese. So
Yep,
I think we're,
and basically notices and announcements, or board discussion.
yeah.
Or
Do anybody
adjourn.
have any more, anybody have any board discussion?
Um, I
I was
just
just gonna
thought
say,
I'd let
I
you,
would,
go ahead.
I'd like to, if people are available, I would like to do something in, sometime in January, late January, early, or well, I guess maybe early February, mid-February, if we could do a, some sort of family event. I think that would be fun for the cab. We could do it at Independence Mine or Fingers Lakes or one of the other parks, but maybe if we could get a cab group together, that would be good. If people had thoughts on that.
I'm game.
Yeah, that would be fine. I can always offer up the office at Finger Lake. I mean, it's not spectacular, but Independence Mine would be a challenge to get up to in the winter.
Yeah, I suppose that's true, but they always have the groom tracks, so I was just
Mm,
thinking like, but yeah, Finger Lakes might be the most accessible or one of the more accessible. But if you guys are interested, maybe we can talk about that a little bit more next month and via email. But I'd be interested in maybe doing something like mid February or something around there, either Independence Line or Finger Lakes.
yeah, the going up to the mine right now, just as an FYI, there's no because DOT, I mean, if you missed it in the news, you're one of the few people who didn't call to scream at me, literally. But
Oh,
DOT had to train their plow operators, and there was nowhere else with snow except Independence Mine. So we plowed the road up to the mine, and since then, there's not enough snow to even groom. So there's
no.
they,
Well, I
Did
mean,
it turn
yeah,
into an ice cheat?
yeah,
yeah.
and there's basically with the wind events we've had, there's basically no snow up in Hatcher Pass.
Yeah, I imagine with the wind events, but yeah, but February will be a different. February there'll
Yeah,
be snow. I just
yeah,
know, you know. That's
yep.
just I'm not even. I don't even question it. But yeah, maybe we can keep in touch via email and talk again next month. But maybe we can plan something for one of our parks, to do something with the state parks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be nice.
We just had Bark in the Park.
Bark in the park. Yeah, I saw a big Matsu thing at Finger Lakes it was last weekend, right? Or 2 weekends ago.
Yes. Nope, last weekend, and 30 plus mile an hour winds and taking
Oh, geez.
photos with people's dogs. And yeah, it was an we didn't burn down the park. We had a pretty good fire, um, in the fire pit. But yeah, that was an exciting day or so of braving, or a day of braving the wind. But we had a number of dogs come out, and it was fun.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, hopefully, yeah, let's get something figured out for February and um I don't know. Bark in the Park sounds fun, but we can do something different. And does anybody have any other topics before we adjourn? Well, then I guess we can adjourn for this month and we'll reconvene next month. And I think maybe via email I'll try to send somebody. I'll send the group uh, a thread just to see if what people are interested in. Bark in the Park's fun, but since that's been done, maybe we can come up with another family event, maybe a cross country skiing or something like that. So yeah, at the latest, we'll talk in January. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We'll talk in the new year.
Yeah,
All
thanks. Have
right.
a good day,
Yeah,
Sounds
thank you,
everybody.
good.
everybody. Happy
Thank you.
holidays.
Happy
Happy holidays.
holidays.
Bye
Thank
now.
you.